Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you the easiest way to skim coat walls and ceilings for beginners. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll show you everything you need to know to mix up the joint compound into the perfect skim coating mud. First up, I'll be skim coating over some Knockdown textured walls. I'll be using a 14-inch drywall taping knife, a 3/4 inch roller nap cover, and also some all-purpose joint compound thinned down to a thick yogurt consistency. Yes, you heard that right. I'll be using a paint roller to apply the joint compound to the wall. I feel like that gives you a lot more consistent application of the joint compound. Again, I thinned it down to a yogurt-like consistency, and then you just want to get it up on the wall. And once you've got a good section done, you can drop back again with the roller to make it all consistent. I'll be doing a ceiling next, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, you can see the wall is progressing, and it's just a weird looking texture at the moment. But when I come back with my 14-inch taping knife, I'm going to smooth it out, and it'll be a nice skim coat over the knockdown texture. It will take 2 rounds of skim coating to get a smooth wall. So basically, I'm just going around and smoothing it out. As you can see, there's no joint compound up in the corner near the ceiling. You don't want to pile it up there, or you're going to end up having to do a lot of sanding. My goal, and for me and for you, is not a lot of sanding. So what I'm doing is I get the joint compound on my knife just to get up in the corners and keep it nice and thin up there. You always want to keep nice tight corners, that way you get a nice 90-degree corner when it's all said and done. Now when I'm smoothing this out, I'm applying pressure to the right side of the knife and slightly lifting the left side. That's why you see the line on the right side and it's smooth on the left. A lot of people miss this step, and it's crucial if you don't want to have to do a lot of sanding or make a mess of your skim coat. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name's Paul, and I've been a drywall and painting contractor for over 25 years. If you're looking to step up your drywall, texturing, or painting game, be sure to hit that subscribe button and also click the bell notification to get alerted whenever I post a new video. I'm not going to show you the whole wall I skim coated. I just want to show you this section, and then I'll show you another section of a ceiling. That way, if you're doing a ceiling or walls, you can get a good grip on how it needs to be done without a 30 or 40 minute video. I'll leave links to the full videos down below in the description. As you can see, there's no baseboards on these walls because I'm doing a modern inset baseboard finish. But if you do have baseboards installed, you want to do them just like the top corner. You don't want to roll all the way down to it. You just want to put it on your knife and keep it super thin down over the baseboards. Let me know in the comments if you're a DIYer, contractor, painter. Just kind of curious. Continue the smoothing out. And as I go, I do kind of eyeball if there's any bare spots or any little areas that need some mud. So I just apply it, and I'm going to come back and just go over this one more time to make sure it's as smooth as I can get it. Again, pressure on the right, lifting on the left side, and it's smooth on the left side, and you see that line. And as you continue on, it'll be nice and smooth. You might have a couple lines, but you can always drop back once it's dry and take your 6-inch taping knife and just scrape them down. You should not have to sand in between the skim coats. Like I said, this did take 2 rounds of skim coating. Be sure to give this video a like if you're enjoying this content, and also share it with a friend that might enjoy it as well. I appreciate that. I think with these skim coating tips, you're going to have a huge head start on skim coating. If you didn't watch this video, you might end up with a huge skim coating disaster. Skim coating a ceiling coming up. All right, so I'm going to roll on the skim coating mud and then wipe it down I'm rolling it on with an 1.25 inch roller cover and just a regular paint pole and a handle. Already thinned the mud down a good amount. And I'm just going to dip in the roller, get it all over it, and then roll it out on the ceiling without making a mess, hopefully. So you just want to get the joint compound up on the ceiling, probably doing about a 3 foot by 5 foot section at a time. And since this roller cover's new, it's going to take a couple dips to get it good and saturated with the joint compound, but it'll get going and you can go a little further than it is the first couple rolls. So I'm just getting it up there, and like I said, once I get all the joint compound up there, I'll roll it all out to make it consistent. I like just dipping it in the bucket. It makes it a lot easier and quicker. You could use a roller pan, but it's going to slow you down considerably. If you notice, I'm just dipping the roller directly in the bucket and then kind of shaking it off and then doing kind of a half flip to make the joint compound stick more to the roller than a big chunk to fly off. You'll get the hang of it after you dip it and go a couple times. I do get a lot of questions if you can use the roller texture and then paint it without skim coating it, and the answer is yes. That can be a texture. I've had to match that on walls before. I'm going to go ahead and speed up this roller part because you can still see exactly how I'm applying the joint compound to the ceiling.
Let me know in the comments what kind of drywall project you're working on.
All right, so let's wipe this down. I'm basically just going over it with a light touch, minimal pressure, just kind of evening it all out, seeing if everything's covered real good. Now you're going to have to pay special attention to the corners. Hit these corners. Especially on each side of the room and at each end of the room. So I just go around with a little bit of joint compound on my knife, keeping it real thin, trying not to get it on the wall. In the next video, I will show you how to clean up the walls after you skim coat in case you're not painting the walls. So again, yeah, I'm just doing the corners, making sure not to go down on the walls, and then I'll just wipe it back down. You're going to end up with a half a pan full of joint compound after you do all the wiping down. So what I'm doing is I'm applying pressure to the right side and no pressure on the left side. That makes the lines go away. People wonder how you get a nice slick finish. That's how you do it. You don't have any lines to begin with, or very minimal where you can just scrape them down. And for the record, I will not be doing any sanding on this ceiling whatsoever. I'm going to be doing a skip trowel texture, and that'll be coming up in a video where I show you how to mix the texture and also how to apply it on this ceiling. Going to go out a little bit further and go ahead and hit these corners since I have some mud in my pan. And then I'll get back to rolling out the joint compound on this small section. Now I'm just going to even out where I just applied the joint compound on this section. I want you to notice how I'm applying pressure to the left side and lifting slightly on the right. That's how there's not a line as I'm going. You only see the line on the left side. So if you can practice that, you can get really good at skim coating or finishing drywall, because this is like finishing drywall.
Looks like floating.
Again, I'm just paying special attention to these corners. You want those to be nice and crisp when you go to texture and then paint. All right, so here's that section of the ceiling that I skim coated. All right, so I'm going to be mixing up the all-purpose joint compound with my cordless DeWalt drill. And this is a paint/mud mixer for just small batches of joint compound for skim coating or doing repairs, finishing, whatever. So this is more of a DIY or a handyman type of way to do it, but I want to show how you can do it with a cordless drill. The reason you could burn out the drill over time if you keep mixing with it. It's not going to hurt it to do it once in a while, but you don't want it to be your go-to mixer. But I'm going to show you what I use when I'm doing a whole big project. This is a mixing drill. It's a DeWalt. And this is my paddle bit that I've had for almost 10 years. This thing is unbelievably strong and mixes up fast. But I'll leave a link down in the description to all the tools that I use in this video and all my other videos. So you can check it out, see the specs on them, price them out. It's my Amazon influencer store, so check that out. All right, so I'm ready to mix. Gonna use my cordless drill and the paint mixer just because I'm gonna mix up probably 3/4 of a bucket. I'm not gonna mix it real thin like a normal skim coat because I'm going over a heavy texture, so I'm gonna leave a good amount of the body of the joint compound so I can build it down before I do the second coat, which is gonna be a lot thinner. Okay, so I've got a container with water, which helps me control how much water I put in, and I know how much is going in. I'm gonna mix up probably half of what's in this bucket right now. It's almost full, probably 3/4, maybe a little more. So I'm not gonna go all the way to the bottom. I'm just gonna mix it up halfway down. That way I can adjust the next level accordingly. So probably about a cup of water. And like I said, I'm not going to mix up this whole bucket. I'm only going to mix up about half, so I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom. That's why I'm using 1 cup of water to start out with, just to see the consistency with that. If you're going to mix the whole bucket, you're definitely going to want to add probably 3 or 4 cups of water to get it to a yogurt-like consistency. As you can see, it brings the joint compound and water down into it, so it'll mix. Basically, you just want to run the mixer in there until it starts kind of all coagulating together. You'll be able to tell once it starts moving around and almost making a little whirlpool. You don't want to mix it too thin, because if it's too thin, it's really not going to skim over any texture or anything very well at all. It'll just be like water going up on your ceiling. Okay, so you can see it's starting to get pretty consistent and starting to flow together. Just another minute and this should be perfect for doing the skim coat on the ceiling or on walls. And as always, if you have any questions, be sure to ask me down below in the comments. And if you want to catch the next video or any of my upcoming videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button now in the center of the screen to keep up with all my videos. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I'll leave some of my most popular video links down below in the description. Thanks so much for watching.